Hey listeners, Happy New Year! Welcome to 2024. Or is it? Well, it may or may not be the new year according to science. Well, how? In this episode, I'm taking behind the science of the Earth's orbit and revealing whether or not it's really a new year or if it's just some made up thing. It's really interesting. It's a great way to start off 2024. So let's get right into this amazing science. Let's go! So first we have to start out by defining a year. Well, a year in science and in terminology is when the Earth completes one full orbit around the sun. That same thing applies to other things. Like if we talk about Martian years, we talked about how long it takes for it to orbit around the sun. But let's say we draw a diagram of the Earth's orbit around the sun. And then we have this point, we'll call it point A. And a year is when the Earth moves around the sun from point A and then comes back to point A. And that's what we call a year on Earth. Well, if that's a year, that means that where is that point? So we here in the US say that New Year is on January 1st. Now, the New Year isn't marked by any natural event, like the winter solstice or the summer solstice. Those are marked by natural events because those are things happening astronomically and things that you can see. But the New Year is on the calendar, and it varies based on tradition and culture. And the New Year is just a calendar event. It's not marked by any events that happened in like the solar system or even on the Earth. It's just an event that we've set aside and that humans have set aside as January 1st being the new year. Now, since we have that point A situation, that means that this point A could be anywhere along that line of orbit. So that means that the new year could be on any day. Just to start back on, we say a year is 365 and 1/4 of a day. That's a year. But we don't know when the year actually starts. There's no set time. That's why different traditions around the world, like in India and even in China, they have different New Years, like Chinese New Year and Lunar New Year, all those different things. They even look at different things like the sun, they look at the moon, and it's New Year is varying around everywhere. And the cultures there is amazing to just look at. But scientifically, the new year is not a natural event. So it's technically not a new year. But according to the calendar that we follow, it is a new year. Isn't that amazing? This is a time where science and human knowledge don't really overlap. And when we look at the Earth's orbit and it orbiting around the sun, we can see that it's technically not a new year because that orbit could start anywhere, and we don't really know where it starts. But we just take an educated guess that at this time of year, this is where the Earth's orbit starts, and it orbits one more time for it to be a new year. Isn't that some really crazy science? That's a great way to start off 2024. We're starting off 2024 strong. Let's go. What are your New Year's resolutions? I know mine is a really big one. It is to reach 1,000 subscribers on Spectacular Science on YouTube. I know it seems like a big goal, right? But that's my goal this year. And each of you will be part of it. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button below to be part of my goal. Thank you so much. Alright, let's review what we learned in this special New Year Spectacular Science episode. Let's go. Alright, what we learned in this episode? Well, in this episode, we learned that the Earth's orbit around the sun, one revolution, is a year that takes about 365 and 1/4 days. But we have to have a point where that starts. If we take the example of point A, that point A where the Earth starts, we call it where it starts. But it's not really where it starts. But when it starts orbiting, it has to come back to that spot to mark 1 year. But the new year that we're celebrating right now, January 1st is where they marked it, and the Earth's orbit is infinite. So it could be marked anywhere, and the new year could start anywhere as long as it starts the next time. So that's why scientifically the new year is not scientific, because there's no celestial or natural event that happens, unlike an equinox or a solstice when something like the Earth's days change and all that happen. But for the new year, nothing really happens in that, and that causes lots of different cultures to celebrate New Year at different times of the year. For example, in China and India, they have different types of New Years. and the culture is amazing. So Happy New Year, everyone, and have a great year in 2024. I'm looking forward to getting my New Year's resolution solved, which is getting 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. You can be part of that too. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Spectacular Science. Spectacular Science produced and hosted by me, Akshay J. Raman. Our theme song and additional music are by Charan Ramachandran. Please visit my website, spectacularsci.com, to find interactive activities, articles, and blog posts. That's spectacularsci.com. Do you have a question that you want answered on a Spectacular Science episode? Well, head over to spectacularsci.com/contact with an adult and share with your science questions with me. I'm looking forward to reading them and hopefully start off 2024 with some amazing science questions from you. Thank you so much. Subscribe and share this podcast with your friends and family. This will really help me towards my New Year's resolution of gaining 1,000 subscribers before the end of 2024. Let's do this. Thank you so much. And we'll see you on the next episode of Spectacular Science next week. Happy New Year and keep thinking about science.